So let's talk about this Breonna Taylor case real quick. So the verdict has come down, and it's not the verdict that people wanted, but it's the verdict that people got. And ultimately, only one officer was charged in the incident, and I think he was only charged with endangerment, meaning that police have a responsibility to still conduct themselves with order. And at no point in time should a person that's not involved in the incident become collateral damage. He shot into Breonna Taylor's apartment, I believe, 10 times. I'm not sure if these people were necessarily shot or hit, but I do know that bullets, fragments, whatever, went into neighboring apartments. The other two officers that were involved in the Breonna case were not charged with the incident, and obviously the whole world is in an uproar. What else is new? So if you have not heard about the Breonna Taylor case, I don't know what rock you could possibly be living under, but please invite me to live there as well, because I'm tired of hearing about these type of bullshit. So Breonna Taylor was a 26-year-old ex-EMT worker that was with her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, and they were laying in their bed watching a movie when they heard knocks at their door. Now, y'all know how the police knocks, okay? She heard the knock at the door. She responded with saying very loudly, according to Kenneth Walker, "Who is it?" Okay? They did not receive a response. The officer said that they knocked the first time. No, they did not announce themselves when they knocked. They just knocked. Once they did not get a response, they then went to proceed to go into the home, in which they began to announce themselves. Hi, the police, we're here to serve a warrant. We are the police, we're here to serve a warrant. We are the police, we're here to serve a warrant. They said this repeatedly, still to no response.
Banged on it again, no response. At that point, we started announcing ourselves, please come to the door. Please, we have a search warrant.
He says at first police didn't announce themselves, but after 6 or 7 knocks, he says they did.
When they got into the house, I believe it was just one officer at the time, maybe, that kind of led into the house. I think it was a sergeant. He said that at first he cleared it and didn't see anyone, but as he turned the corner, he saw Kenneth Walker there with a gun, and Kenneth drew first blood. What I mean by that is he shot first.
And as I turned the doorway, he's in a stretched out position with his hands with a gun, and as soon as I clear, he fires. Boom.
He shot first. He claims it was in self-defense. He did not know who was entering his home. He never heard them announce who it was. And so he shot in self-defense, protecting him and his girlfriend, Breonna, which then the cop returned fire. The officers shot into the home, and Breonna was hit 8 times in the hallway.
Walker says after firing 1 shot in self-defense, he and Taylor dropped to the ground. Walker thought someone was breaking in.
All of a sudden, there's a whole lot of shots, and we both just dropped to the ground, and the gun fell.
It was simultaneous. It's boom, 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 boom.
When asked if it was his officers who returned fire, Mattingly answered,
I don't know. I never saw anybody return fire. I don't think they did, especially my initial 4. I know nobody did. It was just me and this guy.
But he admits firing at least 4 rounds.
The media has done a hell of a job, and I don't mean that in a good way, reporting this incident. The misinformation is wild. It has been reported that Breonna was just asleep in her bed, and the cops came in, busted through the door, shot the girl up in her bed, and just utilized a no-knock warrant and got the wrong house, and that's just it. However, that's not what her boyfriend said. Kenneth said that 1, they were not asleep. They were watching a movie. When they heard, once again, they heard knocks at the door, to which Breonna responded, "Who is it?"
were watching a movie in bed when police knocked on their door. In this audio interview with LMPD's PIU, Walker tries to explain what happened hours after the shooting.
We both get up, start putting on clothes. Another knock at the door. She's like, "Who is it?" Loud at the top of her lungs. No response.
If you heard a knock, then they didn't utilize a no-knock warrant. Kenneth then said they began to put on their clothes and fall out into the hallway trying to figure out who was at the door. Which means she was not shot in her bed while she was sleeping. She was in the hallway. Now, unless they shot her in the bed and drug her into the hallway, but from what Kenneth said, she was in the hallway. My thing about this is, let's talk about the warrant. Police cannot just take it upon themselves to go into someone's house unannounced and say we have a warrant. You have to get a warrant. A judge has to sign off on a warrant. There has to be a significant amount of detail and evidence to justify why you need a warrant to go into someone's home. A no-knock warrant, the evidence has to be extensive and significant. Significant for the people in the back. Significant evidence for a no-knock warrant. They had that. Breonna Taylor had her own warrant. Whether this was the moment that they were taking Breonna or not, or if they were after Breonna or not, at the end of the day, this home, this address, and her vehicle all are on a warrant with her name on it. The people who she chose to associate herself with also had warrants. Okay? This was a very long, drawn-out investigation that they had been pursuing for months. Stacking and piling evidence to come to this moment of getting a warrant and serving it. Now, I personally am not for or against no-knock warrant. I see the blessing and the curse in it all. We had this conversation in a previous video about how we felt about no-knock warrants. I personally, because of this type of situation where you can't just be running into somebody's house unannounced and then expect them not to retaliate and defend themselves. Okay? You cannot do that. Also, at the same time, you cannot tip off criminals and expect them to go down peacefully. Breonna is not innocent. She was riding and dying for her boo. She was involved in criminal activity. Does that mean that she deserved to die? No. Does it mean that she put herself in position to be killed or hurt or endangered? Absolutely. You play big boy games, you win big boy prizes. It is unfortunate that this baby lost her life like that. 26 years old, gunned down in your hallway. That's no way to go. Especially when you got so much life to live. But we are so busy debunking the bullshit and the misinformation, and that is overshadowing this girl's tragic death. Get out your feelings. Check your feelings at the door and do your research. Dear God, thank you for giving me more brains than heart. I'd rather be heartless than ignorant any day of the week. Amen.